Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We will explain about the differences between East Roman Empire and the West Roman Empire. When the Roman Empire dissolved into Eastern and Western entities, the East became the Byzantine Empire while the West forged a new identity tied to the Latin Church. The disintegration of the Roman Empire began in earnest during the 3rd century, as frontiers along the Rhine River began to crumble. Barbarians from the Germanic regions began the cross into Roman territory. Poor imperial leadership, often resulting in civil war between competing would-be emperors, contribute to the growing weakness. Although many of the early barbarian groups had no specific desire to conquer Rome, they were antagonised by Roman civilization and prosperity, while frequently fleeing other barbarian groups moving into Central Europe from the east. By the 4th century, following the reign of Constantine the Great, the last emperor to rule over a unified Rome, the division between East and West was complete.
East versus West in later imperial times. The Eastern Empire was vastly different from the West. The East contained the largest population centers and the wealthiest cities. The moving of the capital to Constantinople by Constantine added the element of practice and signified the importance of the East. Dominated by ancient civilization that predated Roman, the East was far more Celtic and open to competing philosophies and religious ideas. The Christian population in the East, for example, was substantially higher than in the West. The West was more prone that barbarian incursions as Germanic tribes invaded Gaul and eventually Italy during the 5th century. The Western legions were often converts of barbarian recruits, men that had no loyalty to Rome nor shared common interests related to imperial goals. As civil government crumbled, the Catholic Church emerged as both civil and spiritual leader under the auspices of local bishop who sits coincident with the Roman civitas. Although the Byzantine Emperor Justinian attempted to reunify the empire in the 6th century, barbarian groups like the Lombards, Alemanni, Vandals, and Franks continued to separate the west from the east. This separation resulted in the remnants of the Western Empire transforming into a new civilization, independent of the rise of Eastern Byzantine Empire.
Which empire ultimately survived. Despite clear advantage connected to Imperial Rome, the Byzantine Empire, although lasting until 1453, disintegrated rapidly. By the 11th century, Byzantine emperors frantically requested military assistance from the West to contain Muslim advance, notably after the Battle of Manzikert in 1071. By 1453, only Constantinople remained. In the West, however, Muslim attempts to conquer were repeatedly decisively, such as at Tours in 732 by Charles Martel. In many ways, the cohesiveness of the Roman Empire was replaced by the Catholic Church, which was forced to forge alliance with strong secular rules like Charlemagne. While the East ruled, the West was transformed. It can be argued that, at least on one level, the fate of East and West was intimately tied to religion and the rule of Christianity, a fact acknowledged by Eastern emperors' solicitation, Western military support via the medieval papacy. And then our discussion about the the differences between us as Roman Emperor and West Roman Emperor. And the last we say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And the next is about religion, law, and culture. Western European civilization has been defined as the produce of Roman culture, the Christian church, and barbarian culture and traditional. In the West, Latin Christianity domined religious tradition, while in the West, Orthodoxy emerged as the primary religious faith tradition. The East refused to acknowledge the Roman Pope of Pontiff as the supreme head of the Christian Church, vesting authority instead in the Patriarch of Constantinople, who was appointed by the emperor. The East continued to practice Roman law, codified in the 6th century by Justinian. This code would not be reintroduced in the West until the 11th and 12th centuries. Western law was an amalgamation of pagan Germanic law based on the Wehrgeld model and canon law, with a liberal dose of superstition such as trial by water and compurgation. Post-Roman Western law lost the Roman element of due process.
Okay, guys, that's all. Our explanation about the differences between the Eastern Roman Empire and the Western Roman Empire. The last we say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.